Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are stepping into the next evolution of the Ben 10 saga, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. If you have watched the original Ben 10 Classic and Alien Force, you already know things have been getting crazier with every series, but this time everything changes. At 16 years old, Ben Tennyson is no longer just a hero, he's a global icon. His identity is out, the whole world knows his name, and that comes with fame, pressure, and enemies stronger than ever before. And the Omnitrix, yeah, that chapter's over. Now he's got the Ultimatrix, a powered up version that doesn't just transform him, it evolves his alien into their ultimate forms. Ultimate Swampfire, Ultimate Humongous, or Ultimate Big Chill. You are gonna see just how insane things get. But Ben's not alone, the squad is still solid. We have Gwen, smarter, calmer, and way more powerful with her mana abilities. And on the other side, Kevin, the ex-enemy turned full-time teammate, absorbing and morphing into anything he touches like a tank on legs. And with the world watching, the villains leveling up, there's no room for mistakes. So grab your Mr. Smoothie, power up your Ultimatrix, and get ready because we are covering Ben 10 Ultimate Alien from start to finish. And if you haven't watched the previous Ben 10 series, don't worry, we have already covered them on the channel, so you can check up anytime. Alright then, let's get into it. It's hero time. Season 1 kicks off with a bang, literally. Ben's secret identity gets leaked online and suddenly the whole world knows he's the alien hero. Instead of being treated like a savior, the media paints him as some kind of threat. Rough start, right? Even his house is swarmed by paparazzi until he scares them off as a humongousaur. Turns out the big mastermind behind the leak, just a 10-year-old superfan named Jimmy Jones.
That's your mastermind?
The kid idealized Ben so much he thought the world should know how cool he is. Didn't mean any harm, but yeah, kinda turned Ben's life upside down. While talking to Jimmy, the team spots a new alien sighting in Florida. So Kevin shows off his souped up rubber ship, basically the Rust Bucket 3.0, and they jet off. Problem is, the alien they find isn't just stealing random junk, it snatches parts from NASA rocket, which also happens to be a nuclear bomb. Yeah, no pressure. Ben tries fighting it as Chroma Stone and Spider Monkey, but this alien named by Valvan is way too strong. That's when Ben unlocks the Ultimatrix's true power and evolves into Ultimate Spider Monkey, basically a giant spider ape tank. With that, he finally takes by Valvan down. After the fight, by Valvan explains he's from the Andromeda galaxy and was kidnapped by some big bad named Aggregor, along with a few others. They escaped and crashed on Earth, but before the plumbers can help, Aggregor shows up and recaptures by Valvans. So yeah, new villain alert. Episode 2 isn't super important, just kind of a side adventure. Basically, Ben tries to juggle too many things at once. Jury's tennis match, a Forever Knights museum heist, and catching the new Sumo Slammers movie. So he uses Echo to split into 3 Bens, one rude, one sensitive, and one movie nerd. As you did expect, it all goes downhill. Rude Ben embarrasses Julie, sensitive Ben annoys Kevin, and movie Ben just vibes at the theater. Meanwhile, the Forever Knights leader, Sir Urian, gets his hands on some ancient battle armor and wreaks havoc. The 3 Bens try to fight but end up tripping over each other, so Ben finally pulls it together, turns into Roadster, and uses magnetism to rip the armor apart. In the end, Julie is still mad at him, Gwen too, and even Kevin calls him out, leaving Ben alone to realize he seriously messed up. Episode 3 is kinda skippable run, but still worth mentioning. Since Ben's identity went public, all his old enemies, Charmcaster, Volcana, Zomboso, decides to revenge by targeting his family. First, Max saves Ben's mom, Sandra, from 7-7, and that's when he realizes the villains are striking at at home. Soon after, Zombozo actually kidnaps Sandra, forcing Ben, Gwen and Kevin to track them down. In the big showdown, Ben unlocks ultimate Big Chill for the first time.
You're tough with an army behind you, Vulcanus.
Breathing fire so cold it actually burns, and wipes out Vulcanus' army. Meanwhile, Gwen, pushed to her limit by Zombozo's cruelty, unleashes her Anodite form again, something she swore she did never do, to save Sandra and lay down a warning: anyone who dares target their family will regret it. In the end, Sandra is safe but shaken. Gwen and Sandra share a quiet moment, and when Ben and Kevin show up, Gwen simply says they don't need to worry about Zombozo anymore. Skipping ahead to episode 5, we have Escape from Aggregor. It kicks off with Ben as 4 arms fighting a Yeti under Dr. Animo's mind control. Gwen and Kevin disable Animo's device while Ben switches to Brainstorm and fries the mind control tech, turning the Yeti against its master. With Animo taken down, that threat is over, but the real story is just beginning. Back in Bellwood, a giant turtle-like alien is tearing through the city. At first, it looks like another rampaging monster, but Gwen notices it's actually not hurting people, just buildings. Using their plumber badges as translators, they learn his name, Garapagus. He explains he's part of a peaceful race, but was captured by a villain named Aggregor, who has the terrifying power to absorb energy from any alien he touches. While imprisoned, Garapagus met 4 others by Velvan, Pandor, Andreas, and Red. Together, they escaped after a failed rescue attempt to Coast Magister reveal his life. The group eventually crash-landed on Earth and split up, hoping to stay hidden from Aggregor. Ben adds Garapagus' DNA to the Ultimatrix and promises to help him get home. But in a brutal twist, the plumber escorting Garapagus off-world is actually Aggregor in disguise. He recaptures Garapagus to drain his powers. 2 down, 3 to go. Episode 6, Too Hot to Handle, starts with Kevin finding an alien named Pandor who's stuck inside a containment suit. Pandor's been paying random thugs big money to try and crack it open, but nobody can cut through it. Kevin steps up with Tennyson, the strongest metal in the galaxy, and almost breaks it until his plumber badge warns him the inside is super radioactive. He backs off, but Pandor's not happy and sakes his goons on Kevin. Later, Ben and Gwen track Pandor to an old mine. During the fight, Ben transforms into Ultimate Humongosaur, firing missiles this time, but ends up collapsing the mine and letting Pandor escape. Kevin and Gwen argue. Kevin wants brute force and Gwen wants brains, and in the chaos, Kevin gets captured. Pandor then tricks Kevin into using his powers again, and this time, Kevin accidentally slices open the containment suit, freeing him. Big mistake. Pandor immediately starts absorbing energy, blasting even his own goons when they ask for payment. Gwen tries to calm him down, but he lashes out and injures her. Ben cycles through forms: Jetray, Water Hazard, Big Chill, trying everything to stop him. Nothing works. Finally, he goes Ultimate Cannonball, and with Kevin's help, they force Pandor back into the suit, welding it shut so he can break free again. But as expected, the plumbers fail yet again. Aggregor ambushes the transport and snatches Pandor, just like he did with Bivalvan and Garapagus. 3 down, 2 to go. Episode 7, Andreas' Fault, starts with Ben enjoying his fame at Mr. Smoothie until the Forever Knights randomly steal a smoothie machine.
Thank you! Yes, I am amazing.
Suspicious, right? With Jimmy's help, the team learns the knights have been looting junk food instead of valuables. At their castle, Ben discovers Arjet has taken over, using his new buddy Andreas, a massive alien, to do the heavy lifting. Arjet treats the knights like his personal food couriers and even tries bribing Kevin, but Sir Dagonet shows up, takes charge, and locks Ben's team away. Sentenced to death by cannon, Andreas is only saved when Ben breaks them out. In the chaos, Dagonet turns the cannon into a bomb, and Andreas seemingly sacrifices himself to stop the blast. The team mourns while Kevin finally lashes out at Arjet for his selfishness. But Andreas isn't gone. Aggregor finds him alive, heals him, and adds him to his collection. Now he only needs one more alien, Rad. In the episode Fuse, Ben finally gets some sleep after days of alien hunting, only to wake up with Rad, the last of Aggregor's prisoner, zapping his room. Ben jumps into Jetray, they fight, and Rad ends up shouting out in a pool. The team drags him to Lost Soldat. Rad isn't grateful, he straight up blames Ben for Aggregor recapturing the others, saying the Ultimatrix is basically a tracking device. He tries to fry it, but instead he gets pulled inside the watch. Now Ben can only turn into Rad's species, amphibian. Of course, that's when Aggregor shows up. He is way too strong, so Gwen teleports them out. Kevin tries to rebooting the Ultimatrix, but Rad, now inside Ben's head, fights back. Scared of being found again, he almost takes Ben over completely. Kevin manages to separate them, but Aggregor crashes in again. Ben as Brainstorm is no match, and Aggregor nearly forces him back into amphibian. That's when Rad steps in, finally realizing Ben risked everything for him and helps out. In the end, Rad sacrifices himself, overloading Aggregor's staff in a huge explosion. The warehouse is gone, Aggregor escapes, and now he has all 5 aliens. His plan's nearly complete. But Ben's not backing down. He swears he will use the new alien DNA in his Ultimatrix to stop Aggregor no matter what. The episode 10 starts with Aggregor trying to escape Earth with Rad, but the plumbers crash the party. In the fight, his ship's hyperdrive gets destroyed, forcing him to stay grounded. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin investigate the scene, and Kevin literally CSIs the whole battle, retracing every move. Soon after, the team gets attacked by Agrobots. Ben goes Roadster to stop Aggregor's ship, but it explodes with him inside. Luckily, he reforms thanks to his magnetic powers. Meanwhile, Max and Colonel Rosam reveal Aggregor's next move. He is headed for Lost Soldat, where he plans to use Professor Paradox's old machine to absorb the Andromeda aliens' powers for good. Paradox even himself shows up, warning them how dangerous this could be and quietly reminding Kevin to remember who his friends are. At Lost Soldat, Aggregor unleashes the 5 aliens by Valvan, Galapagos, Pandor, Andreas, and Rad, but he's controlling their minds with headbands, forcing them to fight Ben's team. One by one, Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Max manage to free some of them, but it's too late. Aggregor absorbs all their powers anyway. The result, he mutates into a terrifying fusion of all 5 aliens combined. Ultimate Aggregor. In the episode 11, we pick up right where things left off. Ben goes Humongosaur and throws half the base at Aggregor, but Ultimate Aggregor is too strong, easily overpowering Ben, Gwen, and Kevin. Ben blacks out and wakes up to Azimuth, who explains what Aggregor is really after: the map of infinity. Paradox once split it into 4 pieces and hid them across the galaxy, because it leads to the Forge of Creation, the place where new alien axes are born. And if Aggregor gets there, the universe is in serious trouble. The first stop is planet Mictidi, a world split between blazing heat and freezing cold. The team suits up in a plumber gear and enters a temple guarded by white necrophrygians, relatives of Big Chill's species. At first, it seems calm, but once they mention the artifact, the fight begins. Ben cycles through aliens and debuts Ultimate Echo, pushing them deeper inside. The temple is filled with traps, collapsing bridges, poison darts, boiling sludge, and even a 2-headed monster that breathes fire and ice. Gwen's spell, Kevin's strength, and Ben's alien forms keep them going until they reach the final chamber. Gwen moves in to take the piece, but the poison dart she took earlier knocks her out. Ben and Kevin are left holding up a massive door when Aggregor arrives. He takes the map piece with little effort, marking them as he leaves. Ben forces the door up long enough for Kevin to get Gwen out, and they barely escapes. Back on the ship, Kevin uses anti-serum to save Gwen while Ben recovers from his injuries. They may have lost the first piece, piece, but Ben is determined not to let Aggregor win again. The race for the map of infinity has officially begun. The episode Deep opens up with Plumber Magister Pike discovering ultimate Aggregor on the aquatic planet Pisces. Aggregor quickly defeats him, prompting Pike to send a distress call to Ben. Ben, Gwen and Kevin travel to the planet, diving the rust bucket below the surface to reach him. They are attacked by a sea monster but manage to defeat it using their modified plumber suits. Though Kevin's helmet cracks and he begins to drown, Gwen improvises with a fish that forms a makeshift breathing helmet, saving him. Pike leads the team through the planet's defenses toward the core, but a tremor collapses part of the tunnel, trapping Pike. Ben and Kevin continue and find Aggregor has already located the second piece of map of infinity, disguised as the centripetal accelerator that keeps the planet stable. They attempt to stop him, but he easily escapes with the piece, closing the core behind him. Ben pursues as Big Chill, eventually evolving into Ultimate Big Chill to keep up with the chaos. He uses the anti-gravity projector to prevent Pisces from shattering, even though it nearly pulls him in. The planet stabilizes and Ben returns to normal. Pike thanks the team for their help clearing up the misunderstanding about the missing core piece. Kevin parts ways with the fish that saved him.
Go on, scat. We don't want you.
The group continues their mission to prevent Aggregor from collecting all the pieces of the map of infinity. In the episode 14, the team chases Ultimate Aggregor as he enters a portal called the Door to Anywhere. The door closes behind him, but Ben remembers the runes that appeared when Aggregor spoke his destination. Gwen calls on Charmcaster for help, and after a brief confrontation, Charmcaster agrees. She explains that the portal leads to Ledger Domain, a dimension made entirely of mana and her birthplace. Gwen's magical powers are stronger here. Inside, the group learns that Advetia, the ruler of Ledger Domain, possesses the Alpha Rune, the third piece of the map of infinity. They evade Advetia's minion and overcome traps, including a deceptive gap and attacking stone creatures, then transforms into Humongosaur and then Ultimate Humongosaur to fight Advetia's forces. Aggregor appears, seizes the Alpha Rune and escapes. Charmcaster assists the team's exit but stays behind to free her people as the portal seals. Ben promises Gwen they will return for her with the third piece of the map of infinity now in Aggregor's possession. The team has only one remaining chance to stop him. In the next episode, Azimuth contacts Ben, scolding him for failing to stop Aggregor from claiming 3 pieces of the map of infinity. He tells them the last piece is in the Perplexodron, a heavily guarded artificial planet designed to test anyone seeking it. Azimuth teleports Ben, Gwen and Kevin to the rust bucket near the Perplexodron, where Aggregor is already approaching. Inside, the Perplexodron acts as a shifting maze, with moving rooms, booby traps and security systems. Gwen leaves a trail of mana to navigate, while Ben and Kevin face acid-filled chambers, flooding rooms and security drones. They eventually reach the center, where the Sentinel, keeper of the final piece, willingly presents the map's last quarter. The Perplexodron begins to collapse, but Aggregor attacks, overpowering Ben and taking the final piece. Ben transforms into Ultimate Cannonbolt in an attempt to stop him, but Aggregor escapes. Kevin rescues the team and the Sentinel fades away, disappointed in Ben's failure to protect the piece, uttering all is lost. With all 4 pieces in Aggregor's possession, the team prepares for one final attempt to stop him before he executes his plan. Next up is the Forge of Creation. Aggregor has all 4 pieces of the map of infinity and he is headed straight for the Forge, aiming to absorb the powers of newborn Celestial Sapien. Basically, if he succeeds, he is untouchable. Ben realizes the only way to stop him is to unlock Alien X. Yeah, the one thing he swore he did never do again. Gwen and Kevin hand over their keys and Ben transforms. Inside, he tries reasoning with Bellicus and Serena, and of course that goes about as well as you did expect.
Am not
R2?
Just when it's looking hopeless, Professor Paradox shows up. He pulls Ben out of Alien X and reveals he knows where the forge is because, of course, he hid it. Paradox takes the team to the forge's entrance and explains Aggregor's plan. Absorb the newborn celestial sapien, gain full omnipotence, and off story. Flying the rust bucket through the forge isn't easy. Agribots attack. The ship gets hit and Ben ends up falling into a time barrier. Classic. Out comes 10-year-old Ben, a little confused but surprisingly helpful. With young Ben's assistants, they manage to free the ship. They finally reach the newborn celestial sapien, crash landing briefly into its mother's hands, and of course, Aggregor attacks. The team fights, but he is just too strong. That's when Kevin steps up, absorbing the Ultimatrix and turning into a combination of all of Ben's aliens. He takes down Aggregor, but controlling that much power, yeah, not easy. Young Ben has to reason with Kevin to stop him from going overboard, and Kevin finally frees to regain control. Paradox shows up again, erasing young Ben's memory of the whole ordeal and sending him home. A smart move, future trust in Kevin secured. Ben, of course, vows to keep an eye on Kevin, making sure that power doesn't spiral out of control again. Next up, we have Ultimate Kevin on a revenge spree. Turns out he is voluntarily locked himself in the Null Void's Carcaran prison, basically challenging Morg, the warden, to a fight to the death. Classic Kevin. Flashback time. When he was first trapped in the Null Void, he met Quarl, a fellow prisoner who helped him learn how to absorb materials and control his powers. Quarl even helped Kevin escape but sacrificed himself to Morg in the process. Yeah, Kevin owes him big time. Ben and Gwen figure out where Kevin went and try to warn Morg, but Morg doesn't believe them. Big mistake. They stumble upon what Morg is making the prisoners do. Turns out he is running an intergalactic drug operation, forcing prisoners to mine a hallucinogenic substance. Definitely not your average prison job. Kevin finally confronts Morg, but Morg shocks him and the other prisoners with collars around their necks. Ben jumps in as Echo, blasting his sonic powers to destroy the collars and free everyone. The chaos is glorious. Then comes the inevitable confrontation. Ben transforms into Armored Rillo to stop Kevin from killing Morg, but Kevin's too strong. They get separated. Kevin faces Morg alone and even throws him down the elevator shaft. But Gwen catches him in the nick of time. Morg ends up in custody, but Kevin escapes. Ben can't help but wonder if Kevin has gone too far this time. Gwen, of course, refuses to give up, but the tension is real. The episode ends up with the uneasy realization Kevin might be too dangerous to leave unchecked, and the team may have to consider taking him down. Yikes. In the next episode, on the Reader homeworld, poor Reader is sick of his sons failing at the Plumbers Academy, so he sends Arjet to fix their grades, or else classic Reader drama. Meanwhile, Ben and Gwen are cruising around when Ben accidentally runs over Arjet. He is fine, but now he is begging for help because Ultimate Kevin's after him too. The team argues about where to hide Arjet, eventually settling on the academy. Along the way, Ben goes jittery, Gwen pulls an airlock move, and they barely manage to shake Kevin off. At the academy, Arjet sneaks around and changes the Reader's score right before Kevin crashes in. Ben goes Ultimate Humongosaur, but Kevin's too strong. The Reader brothers jump in and of course accidentally launch a bomb that could blow up the school. Ben saves the day as Ultimate Echo blasting the bomb into space. Kevin nearly kills Arjet but hesitates when Gwen steps in, showing a glimpse of the old Kevin is still inside. He leaves thinking Arjet is dead while Arjet fakes it to avoid blame. In the end, Koronek has Arjet arrested and Ben and Gwen are left wondering, can Kevin ever truly be saved? Alrighty, season 1 finale, the episode Absolute Power, part 1. Things kick off with Kevin still on his crazy revenge tour. This time he goes after Alan and steals his Pyronite powers. Ben shows up but Kevin slips away, leaving Alan to explain that he wasn't the only target. Kevin's been hunting down other Plumber's helpers too. Hearing this, Ben gets more convinced than ever. The only way to stop Kevin now is to end him. Gwen doesn't want to hear it. She is holding on to hope that Kevin can be saved. Their back and forth blows up into an actual fight. Ben cycling through aliens, Gwen flexing how much stronger her magic's gotten. Ben finally ends it by going way big and knocking her out, telling her flat out her sentimentality will get them all killed. From there, Ben gets darker. He starts going after other villains, demanding Kevin's location, not caring how brutal he gets. Gwen, realizing she can't stop Ben alone, makes a bold move. She restores Michael Morningstar's body back to normal, providing she needs his help. Meanwhile, Max reaches out to Ben, saying that while putting Kevin down might be right, it's not the Ben way. Ben isn't hearing it. He is made up his mind. Soon after, Gwen and Ben cross paths again, this time with Volcanus caught in the middle. Gwen tries to stop Ben from destroying him, and that's when she reveals her new partnership with Michael.
You're making even less sense than usual.
Shh, give him a chance.
Michael explains that he still has a piece of Dominus Librium from back when Kevin overloaded it. If they can channel enough energy through it, they might be able to drain Kevin's power and save him. The episode builds to a tense final clash. Gwen faces Kevin at the arcade where they first met. She tries one last time to get through to him. For a moment, it looks like he's fighting back against his madness, but then he snaps. Kevin absorbs Gwen's magic, leaving her screaming in pain as he grows even more powerful. Part 2 picks up right where things left off. Gwen escapes Kevin's attack and rushes back to Ben and Darkstar, clearly shaken that talking him down didn't work. Darkstar points out the obvious. Kevin tasted her power and now he is going to keep coming for her. That's exactly what they want though. Since Gwen is now the bait for their plan, the three head to Rose Soldat, where Darkstar reveals he's robed in Cooper, who's taller, more built, and definitely not the kid we remember.
Hi, Gwen. Always glad to, you know, help out.
Cooper has been working on a machine that uses Darkstar's pieces of the Dominus Librium. The plan: drain Kevin of all the power he's absorbed and bring him back to normal. Meanwhile, Kevin shows up at Gwen's house and finds Max waiting for him. For a moment, Max actually holds his own, but Kevin's too strong and nearly finishes him, until Gwen's stepdad Harvey jumps in. That distraction buys Ben enough time to arrive. Ben tries reasoning, but Kevin's rage is too far gone and the fight kicks off. Big Chill, Spider Monkey, even Echo, none of them are enough. Gwen joins in with spells, but Kevin twists her attacks into fuel for himself. It's chaos, with Kevin chasing her through the city until Julie and Chip swoop in to save her. Back at Rose Soldat, Cooper scrambles to finish the machine while Kevin storms in, tearing through everything they throw at him. Missiles, mana blasts, nothing slows him down. Finally, Ben unleashes Ultimate Echo and for the first time, Kevin starts losing ground. He's about to deliver the final hit, but Gwen steps in, begging Ben to stop. Remembering Paradox's word about protecting the innocent, Ben hesitates and instead they strap Kevin into the machine. It works. The Dominus Librium pulls all of Kevin's stolen power out, and just like that, he is back to normal. But the twist: Darkstar had been waiting for this, and he absorbs the excess energy, becoming unstoppable. Luckily, Ben already planned for this. He triggers a fail-safe that strips Darkstar of everything he stole. With Kevin finally himself again, he wastes no time, knocks Darkstar out with a punch and turns to Gwen. The two share a kiss, while Cooper gets his thanks and a cheek kiss of his own. To top it all off, the powers returns to their rightful owners. Even the Andromeda aliens are brought back to life. Kevin apologizes to Ben, though of course they end up arguing right after. Gwen just rolls her eyes while the two storm off for a Mr. Smoothie run, leaving her to explain to her family why their house is half destroyed. Alrighty, season 2 time and things get wild right from the start. Ben and Kevin are racing when bam, a mysterious space pod crashes nearby. Gwen touches it, gets a shock, and out pops a naked girl in green mist. They clothe her and learn her name is Eunice. Though she can't remember anything, weirdly animals adore her and she can absorb their abilities too. Ben starts crushing on her, Gwen reminding him about Julie. They share some quiet moments, fishing and talking. But peace doesn't last. A bear attacks, which Eunice handles easily, and then Sunder shows up after her. Ben goes through Armadillo, Spider Monkey, Ultimate Spider Monkey, and NRG to fight, while Eunice shows off insane moves herself. Things get wild when Sunder uses a device, turning Eunice into an Omnitrix core. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin team up, Ultimate Cannonball smashing obstacles to get her back and restore her human form. She kicks Sunder's butt and demands answers. Azimuth arrives, explaining Eunice is a prototype Omnitrix called the Unitrix, made to hold alien DNA. Her human form came from Gwen's DNA. Ben argues for her freedom, and Azimuth, reluctantly impressed, lets her stay as his assistant. Before leaving, Eunice leaves Ben a flower, a sweet parting gift. In the episode Revenge of the Swarm, Victor Zagathis returns, Ben's old villain who figured out how to control microchips like a queen bee controls a hive. One night, Victor attacks Ben. Ben fights back and grabs one of Victor's microchips. He shows it to Gwen and Kevin and they check Victor's lab, only to find out he's been dead for a while. They meet Victor's daughter, Elena, hoping she can explain the microchips. She's been studying them but claims the one Ben has isn't hers. Later, Ben sets up a date with Julie, but she gets kidnapped by the microchips. Ben confronts Elena, who then reveals she's actually the true queen of the microchips. She had faked her father and abducted Julie out of jealousy. Ben fights Elena and tries to save Julie. The microchips have taken over Elena, but Julie convinces her to resist. Elena sacrifices herself to destroy the microchips, saving everyone. Ben mourns her, feeling that a part of his friend still existed in the queen and wished he could have saved her completely. As they leave, the microchips show signs of life again, hinting that trouble isn't over. In the episode The Creature from Beyond, another group of Forever Knights, led by Winston, breaks open a sealed vault, thinking it holds alien tech. Instead, a dangerous interdimensional creature called Rocabra is released and kidnaps some of the knights. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin investigate the disturbance and team up with another Forever Knights faction led by Sir Cyrus. They discover that magic was used to seal the vault, something the knights wouldn't do normally. While tracking Rocabra in town, it attacks a police officer and tries to control Gwen and Kevin. Kevin's metal body protects him and he helps Gwen free. Rocabra kidnaps Winston and Gwen traces them to an abandoned warehouse. The creature feeds on thoughts and controls its victim. During the fight, Gwen is partially controlled again, but Kevin helps her resist. Ben transforms into NRG and with Gwen's magic, they trap Rocabra in a deep hole and seal it, locking it in its own dimension. Afterwards, Sir Cyrus thanks Ben's team but warns them not to interfere in night business. Winston briefly shows signs of Rocabra's influence but shakes it off. Meanwhile, retired Forever Knight George senses the seal was broken and walks away sadly, realizing something dangerous has been unleashed. Okay, future Ben time. Ben 10,000 is at his headquarters fighting Eon, an interdimensional time villain. This Ben has evolved into Ultimate Ben with all his alien powers at once. He manages to defeat Eon's minions using clockwork and his own abilities, but Paradox warns him Eon isn't truly gone and is traveling through time to attack alternate versions of Ben. Back in the present, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin discovers the Hand of Armageddon. When Ben touches it, Eon's minions appear and he has to fight them with Spider Monkey. Paradox and Ben 10,000 arrive from the future.
I'm you. only even more awesome.
Explaining that Eon is absorbing other Bens across timelines to become the only Ben in existence. During the big fight, Eon turns way big and Swampfire into dust, and it's revealed all his minions are actually other Bens from different dimensions. Ben 10,000 fights using ultimate powers, while present-day Ben keeps up with his own aliens. Eventually, they destroy the Hand of Armageddon, restoring the timelines and defeating Eon. Before returning to his future, Ben 10,000 gives present-day Ben back way big and Swampfire, along with some new aliens he is never had before. Paradox leaves them with a warning about Old George and the creature from beyond, hinting more trouble ahead. Okay, flashback time, episode 11, Moonstruck. Ben, Gwen, Kevin and Max are cleaning the rust bucket when Gwen finds a strange bracelet. Max freezes. It's Verdona's manacle. Ben and Gwen push him and boom, flashback. Back in the 1960s, young Max was an Air Force pilot. During a mission, he shot down a UFO but wrecked his jet too. His bosses didn't believe the alien part, but a general secretly recruited him for a space program. On the way to report in, Max stops at a dinner and meets a mysterious redhead, Verdona. They instantly click, but a huge guy in a coat shows up and attacks her. Max fights him, the coat rips, and surprise, he is actually a robot synthroid. Max and Verdona escape in his car. She reveals she's an alien Anodite and the manacle on her wrist blocks her powers except telepathy. She was a prisoner on the UFO he shot down and contacted him through a mind link. They hide in a gas station, then head to a smelting plant so Max can try to break the manacle, but it doesn't work. The synthroid tracks them, kidnaps Verdona and takes her back to the crashed ship. Max follows using their telepathic link at the ship. The synthroid plans to drain her life force to power his species. A plumber named Magister Breed arrives but gets knocked out. Max grabs his blaster, blows up the power core, destroys the synthroid and frees Verdona. With the manacle disabled, Verdona transforms into full Anodite form. She offers Max anything, even a life in space with her. Max refuses, saying he wants to earn his place in the stars. She kisses him, promises they will meet again, and flies off. Flashback ends. Max explains he trained for space, but later that same plumber recruited him into the plumbers. When Ben and Gwen ask when Verdona returned, he just says that's a story for another day.
What I miss?
He looks at the manacle and quietly wishes her a good night wherever she is. That's what the true love is. In the episode 16, a guy is running a freak show and shows off an alien he calls Dagon, kept inside a water tank, but he has no idea that the creature is actually Vilgax, who somehow survived his last fight with men. Later at night, the freak show owner is attacked by members of the Flame Keepers Circle. They think Vilgax is their god, Dagon. The next morning, Julie drags Ben and Kevin to the headquarters of the Flame Keepers Circle. Their leader, Conduit Edwards, believes Dagon will return and fix all of Earth's problems. Ben immediately doesn't trust him and compares him to a con artist, which annoys Julie. Ben sneaks back into the Flame Keepers Circles by transforming into chameleon. Inside, he discovers the truth. The Dagon they are worshipping is actually Vilgax. Vilgax explains that after his last defeat, he barely survived and washed up in the beach. The freak show owner found him and took care of him, which led people to mistake him for Dagon. Vilgax also reveals his plan. The Flame Keepers store plumber tech for him so he can regain his powers and rebuild his empire. When the followers attack, Ben transforms into Big Chill and then into Ultimate Big Chill to fight them off. Conduit Edwards threatens Ben by pretending that Julie is his hostage, hoping to make Ben surrender. But it turns out Julie was never really in danger. She was playing along. Once she learns the alien is Vilgax, she sides with Ben. Kevin and Gwen shows up and together they defeat Vilgax and his followers. Kevin also reveals he already destroyed the stolen plumber ship's pulse drive so Vilgax can't use it. After the fight, Julie still believed that alien technology could help Earth, even if Ben Ben disagrees. Vilgax, on the other hand, promises that once he gets his power back, he will change Earth completely. Next up in the episode, The Ultimate Sacrifice, Ben and the team are fighting a big red robot in the middle of the street. During the fight, Ben turns into Humongosaur and then evolves into Ultimate Humongosaur, but something's off. He is not acting like himself. His eyes are glowing red and he even attacks Gwen and Kevin. Gwen thinks Albedo might be controlling him, but Kevin believes Ben just hit his head. Gwen tries magic to turn him back, but Ultimate Humongosaur keeps fighting. After a bit of chaos, Kevin and Gwen knock him out and tie him up, but he still transforms again. While Kevin goes to find Azimuth, Gwen sends her S12 form inside the Ultimatrix to reach Ben. Inside the Ultimatrix, Ben discovers that all his ultimate forms are alive and want to kill him so they can be free. They overpower him fast, but Gwen arrives in time to help. Ben fights back using different aliens, but the Ultimates drag him toward a fire pit to get rid of him. Meanwhile, Kevin crashes the ship on Galvan Prime but convinces Azimuth to help save Ben. Back inside, Gwen is ready to destroy all the Ultimates, but Ben stops her. He decides to sacrifice himself to free them. He says goodbye to Gwen with a kiss on her forehead and jumps into the fire. Instead of dying, Ben wakes up outside the Ultimatrix with Gwen, Kevin, Azimuth and the Ultimates around him. Azimuth explains that Ben's sacrifice freed the Ultimates and saved his life. He also fixes the Ultimatrix so Ultimate forms don't become alive again. Azimuth opens a portal and sends the sentient Ultimates to a peaceful planet. Ultimate Humongosaur apologizes to Ben before leaving. Ben feels proud and Kevin tells Ben and Gwen to join him at Burger Shack. Skipping ahead to episode 22, Ben as Wrath, Gwen, Kevin and some plumbers are fighting the Esoterica, who are trying to take Vilgax to Dagon's heart to restore his power. They blow up the place and escape, but Kevin catches one guy. It's Winston from the Forever Knights. Turns out he was still under Dagon's control from when the Lucarbra messed with him. They take Winston back to the Forever Knights and meet Sir Cyrus and Driscoll. Ben steals their weapons as fast track when they attack him. Driscoll explains the story of St. George, the knight who used the sword Escalon to rip out Dagon's heart and seal him in another dimension. Ben figures George is still alive. Right then, Dagon takes control of Gwen and warns that if Vilgax gets Dagon's heart, he will rule the universe. The knights pretend to help but knock out Ben, Gwen and Kevin and lock them up. Later, the Forever Knights find old George at an invisible shrine built by the Esoterica. He finds Dagon's heart stuck on his old sword, but a tentacle pulls him back. Vilgax grabs the heart, powers up, gets armor and wipes out knights and Esoterica in one attack. The team escapes. Gwen gets a vision of Vilgax heading to the seal. Ben makes her teleport him and Kevin even though she's weak. When they arrive, she faints. Ben transforms into Aether to stop Vilgax but gets blasted. Kevin tries to fight too but gets swept away. Vilgax breaks the seal and then gets sucked into Dagon's dimension. Old George wakes up, touches his sword and transforms back into his full power and youth, revealing he is the original Forever Knight. He just says, "Let the Dagon come." In the next episode, Ben, Gwen and Kevin watch as Sir George grabs the sword Escalon and gets ready to face Dagon. Azimuth shows up and claims the sword is his, but George ignores him and charges, only to find Dagon already gone. George uses the sword to easily defeat Ben when he tries to fight as fast track, forcing him back to human form before opening a portal and leaving.
Ben is over there.
Oh, I'm half blind, okay?
Ben demands answers, so Azimuth takes them to a volcano on Primus. He explains that he created the sword to harness universal forces, ignoring warnings from his partner Zenith, which eventually led to a planet's destruction. Feeling guilty, Azimuth dedicated himself to peace and created the Omnitrix as a kind of apology. Azimuth then shows them Earth in the Middle Ages, where George used Escalon to fight the Lucarbra and seal Dagon's heart. Kevin grabs a piece of George's hair, which Gwen uses to track him to Area 51. Ben and George crash as Ultimate Humongosaur versus Sir George, testing each other's strength and judgment. They make an agreement: if George loses to Dagon, the sword will go to Ben. Back at the cave, Azimuth admits he might have been wrong trying to stop George and reveals that one real reason he created the Omnitrix was to get Zenith's attention. In the episode Enemy of My Enemy, Gwen, disguised as Lucky Girl, sneaks into Hex's lair to steal a spellbook. Hex's force field absorbs her mana, but he allows her to take what she needs after she convinces him she's trying to save Charmcaster and defeat Advetia. Later, Gwen convinces Kevin to help her return to Ledger Domain using an algorithm she created to predict its ever-changing true name. Inside, they face Advetia's students, but are saved by Ignatius, a freedom fighter. They free Advetia, who leads them to the usurper revealed to be Charmcaster. She's using a machine powered by stolen souls to resurrect her father, Spellbinder. Ben tries to stop her, transforming into Eartel and then Chromastone, but is overwhelmed and his soul is absorbed. Kevin and Gwen are also captured. Gwen assumes her Anodite form, but Charmcaster absorbs her power and soul too. That's unbelievable. Charmcaster offers all the souls in Ledger Domain to Dagon in exchange for her father. Spellbinder returns, disapprove of her actions, and his soul returns to the Rift. Dagon restores all the souls including Ben, Gwen, and Kevin. Charmcaster is left empty, having achieved her goal but lost everything. Gwen shows sympathy for her, Kevin understands, and Ben remains unsympathetic. Alrighty, Ultimate Alien finale time, and it starts with Ben, Gwen, and Kevin in Kevin's garage working on his submersible car when the Esoterica attack, trying to stop anyone from interfering with Dagon's return. They fight them off. Ben has 4 arms, Gwen using her mana, and discover the Flamekeeper Circle is planning to free Dagon. The team heads to the Circle's headquarters but finds it abandoned. Using clockwork, Ben tracks their departure. Meanwhile, Sir George rallies the Forever Knights at Area 51 to stop Dagon. When Ben and the gang arrive at the seal, they find both factions in the fierce battle. The Knights don't trust Ben and attack, forcing him and the team back into the Rust Bucket. They fight off the attacking Knights and Esoterica using catapults and clever teamwork to make it through the battlefield. Kevin launches Ben across a canyon, who transforms into Heat Blast mid-air and speeds to the seal. Sir George, Winston, and the Knights approach the seal. Conduit Edwards attacks and Winston sacrifices himself to protect George. George avenges him, killing Edwards, and rushes to the seal. There, Vilgax appears, reborn with Dagon's power. The Knights try to stop him but fail. Heat Blast crashes into the cave, but Vilgax breaks open the seal, revealing Dagon's dimension beyond it. The finale continues, and it starts with the war raging between the Forever Knights and the Esoterica. Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and George fights off hordes of enemies while Vilgax tries to break the seal holding Dagon. Gwen shields them all, but Vilgax damages the seal enough for Dagon to unleash a wave, turning everyone on Earth into Esoterica except the team and Jury, thanks to shield from Gwen and Ship. Vilgax grows stronger with Dagon's power, attacking Ben as Heat Blast and Eatle. George fights alongside him, but Vilgax keeps overpowering them. Gwen and Kevin retreat to her house using a mana dome for protection while searching for a spell to contain Dagon. Dagon takes control of Gwen, transforming her into her Anodite form to break the seal, but Kevin blocks him with a metal coating, shielding her mind and also protecting Ben. George refuses the helmet, relying on an Escalon. The team corners Vilgax, demanding answers. Vilgax begs Dagon for more power, but Siphon arrives to assist him. Suddenly, the seal grows and breaks. The Dagon escapes, revealing his massive form in the sky, claiming he is everywhere. The battle for Earth has officially begun. The last episode of the series starts with Ben going ultimate way big to take on Dagon directly, but Dagon Ben regenerates and no attack seems to work. He turns his fury on George and together they fight, but eventually George is hit by a massive energy blast and disintegrates. Rest in peace, the greatest knight ever. Vilgax reveals his secret plan. He goads Dagon into attacking Siphon's machine, which absorbs all of Dagon's power. Siphon then directs it at Vilgax, turning him into the most powerful being in the universe. Gwen teleports the team to the decommissioned Plumber headquarters at Mount Rushmore, but Vilgax easily tracks them, unleashing Esoterica and wreaking havoc. Gwen powers up the defenses, but Vilgax smashes through, leaving Ben to face him alone. Ben grabs Escalon,
Azimuth's sword.
Goes nicely with the watch, don't you think?
absorbing all of Dagon's power from Vilgax, turning Vilgax back to his normal form. Vilgax tempts Ben to use this godlike power to remake the universe with no evil, but Jury arrives, warning him this would make him no better than Vilgax. Gwen and Kevin back her up. After a pause, reflecting on all their past battles, Ben decides to use the power to turn all Esoterica back into humans. World is saved. Jury kisses Ben for the first time and Asmuth appears. Proud of him, he takes Escalon, promises him to keep it safe and upgrades Ben's Ultimatrix to a true Omnitrix. He tells Ben that maybe on his 18th birthday he can finally get Master Control. And that's a wrap, my friends. Ben, Gwen, Kevin, Jury and Ship all together, marking the end of Ben 10 Ultimate Alien. Had a blast reviving all the epic battles and nostalgia from this iconic show. There are more Ben 10 shows coming soon, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed the ride, smash that like button and subscribe for more content. See ya next time.